My name is Crystal, and I want to tell this story that has been so significant in understanding conception. This happened in 1999. On 9/11, 1999, there's something really interesting with the dates, and you can't forget about it, but I went to visit my parents. My father had asked me a few days before, what would you like to eat? I said, mussels. I love mussels. Sure enough, we had mussels. My sister was there too. She was pregnant with her first child, who was visiting from Germany. We had mussels. The first mussel I took in my mouth, there was a black pearl in it. A really tiny little black pearl. But I was beyond excited. There was something that landed in me like, this is really significant. So that night, the pearl got lost. A few days later, my mother found it in the dishwasher, in the filter of the dishwasher, sent it to me 4 hours away. And I was really happy that I had it back. So I put it in its little pot of amber. Amber is very much related to fertility. It comes from the intestines of whales. Very gross, but it smells, it never loses its smell, which is really interesting. It's like my most favorite smell. But so I would put that little pearl in the pot with amber and I would open it and I would once, like every few days, I would open it and smell the amber and look at the pearl and be really happy. One day on 1910, 1999, I opened it and it was gone. The pearl was gone, which nobody knew about it. I was really sad. I was really, really sad, which was kind of out of proportion, you would say, but it was not. So 1 month later, it was just after my birthday. I had dinner the night before. It was Sunday morning. It was just after my birthday. And dinner the night before with my then parents-in-law. And we had mussels as well. I had mussels, and the first mussel I took in my mouth, there was a white pearl in it, which I was not happy with at all. I'm missing my black pearl. I didn't care about that white pearl. So the next morning, I was sitting in this acupuncture class. So I was doing these acupuncture classes just for some certification. And it was with these 7 really serious German doctors. And I was just sitting there, and I had to be there every month for 4 days. I had this white paper in front of me. I hadn't written anything down for 3 days. Sunday morning, I was sitting there, and we had made love all night. Small detail, but I was staring. I was really tired. I was looking into the air. There was like this stained glass windows with the sun coming through, and it was really beautiful the way the light came through. There's all this dust floating up in the air. It's starting to really pour here, but there was one piece of lint coming down. One piece of lint that I was watching. And I saw this, so there was all these speckles of dust, but there was really one piece of lint, and I was just looking at it, musing about it. And I remember thinking, you fall really slow. What else do you do? So you're bored. So I was watching that piece of lint coming down, not thinking anything, just thinking like that goes really slow. And then it reached, now it's going to come. It reached almost my white paper in front of me. It started to swirl in a spiral movement really fast. It turned into a little cloud of dust. You don't have to. It turned into a little cloud of dust. All of a sudden, plop. Out of this cloud of dust rolled the black pearl. When I saw it and when I hear it plop, I knew immediately that this pearl was back. That it was the same pearl as 2 months ago. And I was beyond excited. So I took it. If you put a pearl against your teeth, it's a special feeling. And it had a tiny little hole on one side. I recognized it was just like undeniably the same pearl. It had manifested out of thin air. Now I have to say this is not uncommon. I have a lot of things manifest out of thin air, but this was like a really explicit example. That moment of that pearl appearing out of thin air was the moment of the conception of my daughter, who I was pregnant with, got pregnant that moment. And it ended up not continuing, but that's another story. Later, she told me about it. When she was 4 years old in her life now, she was telling me, like, she was in my belly before. She said, because I didn't come, something else needed to come. And the amazing thing is that manifestation of that pearl out of thin air was the same moment that my dog, her mother was inseminated, was created, which I later verified. I found out that the conception of the dog was that same morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. And so, all to say, there is so much to unpack about this whole story. I wrote a book about it called Clouds in Bodies. But my point is, if you understand the falling of the movement of descending, the movement of descending, the movement of really slowly descending, then you understand conception. Then you understand receiving. Then you understand how realities merge, how the invisible becomes visible. The slowness, the light, the cloud, and the spiraling. I mean, there's so much about this, but I just want to share this, and it's like a quite extraordinary story. But I'm so grateful for this experience because it just brings me in awe of this whole process of conception, how all these realities merge, and how choices are already made. Because my daughter said later that it was her choice already not to be born. So even though she manifested in a way out of thin air, or the conception became visible for me, even though I didn't know that at that moment, I just found out 2 weeks later that I was pregnant. But she knew already, and she said when she was 4 years old, she was speaking about this moment, and she said, because I didn't come, something else needed to come, and that was our dog. Which was phenomenal, because that was true. That dog was created in that same moment as that pearl appeared. Again, my point is the slowness of the falling.